Welcome back.
Happy New Year.
No, we can't even say Merry Christmas anymore.
Merry
Happy New Year.
belated Christmas? Is that a thing?
I don't think so.
I made it a thing.
Whatever. Yeah, let's just dive right in.
Okay.
What lessons have you learned in 2025?
What lessons? I don't know. I really thought about it since we talked about it earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And I would want to say that I learned to take care of myself a lot more.
Okay.
For sure. Put myself first. I learned a lot of it might sound selfish or maybe it was just a lot of self-care stuff, but really just putting myself first in a lot of things. Like
making yourself a priority.
Exactly. Like in the past, I've put everybody but me first. When it comes to I don't know, family wanting me to go visit them even though they live so far, or men I would go on dates with, same thing. They just always wanted me to constantly consider them every single day, and what I was doing. But it's I also have a life. I like to go to the gym. I have a son I like to spend time with. I really did spend the last year going on dates, but with just me and my son. So I really love that. And making sure I worked out every day and really changed my eating habits for the most part. They actually stuck. So I'm proud of that. So those are things I probably learned this past year. Other than that, can't think of anything else. What about you?
I would probably say a lot of the same things, because I'd moved into my apartment. When was it? End of April.
Mm-hmm.
Learning how to be on my own, because essentially this was the first time that I wasn't rooming with anybody.
Yeah.
So it was kind of adjusting how
to do certain things alone.
Yeah, how to do certain things alone and not be lonely.
Yeah.
Because I am used to doing things alone, but then I'd go back home and it was either with my parents or it was with my roommates. But this time it was being alone in a space that was just mine.
Yeah.
So there wasn't sharing anything, and then it was just developing a routine that worked for me, getting up in the morning and staying consistent and showing up for myself in those ways. But then also trying to find a balance of making time for other people.
Mm-hmm.
So go not necessarily forcing myself to go on dates, but going on the dates, because it's so easy to just get comfortable with
being by yourself.
Yeah, being alone. Mm-hmm. That you're I really don't want to go out. And I had learned that it wasn't necessarily me trying to not stray away from my routine. It was more of just self-protection of oh, I could potentially get hurt. Yeah. But it was just putting myself out there and knowing that that's the possibility. I think ultimately the last couple of weeks and the last couple of months have kind of just taught me that you, at the end of the day, only have yourself. And if you can't show up for yourself, how can you show up for somebody else? Mm-hmm. What I've learned was that I would put other people's needs before my own. I would bend every which way to make sure somebody else was happy, but there was no reciprocation on that.
Yeah, and then it drains you a bit, and sometimes it brings you down.
And the reciprocity in the moment, I'm that's not what I'm looking for. I'm doing things because I want to, but looking back, obviously hindsight's 2020. And if I knew what I know now then, I think I probably would have acted differently and shown up differently. Mm-hmm. But it's that's the whole point. You live and you learn. And I think it's just kind of taught me that if somebody makes the choice to do something, don't give them the opportunity to do it again. Mm-hmm. And so I'm kind of just in between a rock and a hard place of knowing the right decision to make, but still wanting to understand the big picture before I make a decision.
Yeah.
Because the last thing that I want to do is, close that door and then have all of these like what ifs flood in, and I just don't want to live with that mindset.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a double-edged sword for me.
I want to circle back really quick to the beginning of the year. You said that you started living on your own, kind of doing a lot more on your own for the first time this year. I'm on the same boat with that because this was the first year that I got my own place and didn't really have people around me as much as I'm used to. Did you experience any type of like sadness in the beginning of the year and you kind of had to like go through that wave of emotion? Because I did. There was days where I would kind of cry.
Not necessarily, because I was excited to get my own place and kind of establish myself. It really, that sadness of going through things alone was hit actually like at the end of the year. So pretty much between like October and December, we're just like, I didn't know how to navigate that time. And it wasn't like nobody was checking on me. It's just I wasn't opening up myself to my friends, and like and part of me would, but it was just so like it felt silly to me, like crying over what I was crying over, and like it's hard.
It is.
But the silver lining in it is what I'm feeling meant that like anything that I felt was real, and that that it was at least real for me.
Yeah.
It's just it's hard in general, because it's like when you're, well, for me, like so far from family, and then like my friends are doing their own thing, it's like you don't necessarily want to bother them, but like that's what they're there for. I had this conversation with my best friend Chris on New Year's. Actually, we were just talking about how like one of our friends had reached out to him, and he's like, like, I'm sorry I haven't been a good friend to you, like I just have all this stuff going on. And Chris is like, I'm here regardless, like it doesn't matter, like you need somebody to vent to and all this other stuff, like that's what I'm here for. And it kind of just put into perspective of like,
oh yeah, that's what friends are for.
Like that's what friends are for. Like I think that's why I take so much pride and I'm so selective with who my friends are, because you see all of these people that have like numerous amounts of friends, but it's like that's all surface level. Like you're gonna tell me you're vulnerable with like
every single person you know?
I have like, I would probably say a solid 7 to 10 people that like know everything.
Yeah.
And for me now, anybody who's in my life, it's like not necessarily a test of can I trust you. It's just you kind of just know at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. How old is your oldest friendship, if you don't mind me asking?
Are we talking like
from your close circle?
From my close circle,
time range of how long you've known these people? Because I think that also determines, right,
10
how
years.
much you trust
like
them with.
10 plus years at this point, because some of them are friends that I made my freshman year of college.
Yeah.
And others are like from high school.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, I would say my newest ones are 7 years.
Okay. That's still a long time though.
That's a really long, at least for me. And it's like, it took a while for me to open up to some of them. Just because I'm not a very trusting person.
Yeah.
Like you break my trust and it's honestly like one of the hardest things to actually earn back, because I gave it to you, no strings attached. Like essentially I always picture it like a perfectly knitted blanket, And then over time, as I lose trust, it's like pulling on a string
That's
that's undoing everything. And then at some point, you just have like this rough patch. And you can go back and fix it, but you're still going to notice like what happened.
yeah. Or even I think over time though things can be fixed, right? Or eventually like just let go of and moved on. Because I have friendships like that where it's either one or the other. It, you know, some things went bad and I feel like I can't trust this person anymore, and it's just might as well just cut all ties there. But I've also had some where like we've taken a break and then we went back to it and kind of slowly built the friendship all over again and just let go of what happened in the past.
Yeah, I think for me, I give everybody one chance at like, I guess, redemption, more so repair. And that just is owning your shit, taking accountability, and meeting me not with deflection, not being defensive, but like actually meeting me and saying, I see how my actions affected you. Though that was not my intent, I can see the impact it had on you, and I am sorry for doing that. Like, that's really all it takes for me.
Yeah.
But for some reason, for some people, it's just like it's not something that they can do. And what I've learned with that is they don't know how to sit in the guilt of it, they don't know how to sit in the shame of it, they can't fathom seeing themselves as the bad guy. But it's not like I'm sitting here like
judging them
because we all make mistakes. Like I make mistakes all the fucking time, but like I'll own it. And like with my ex best friend in college, she was doing like anything and everything, and all of my friends were like, dude, you need to leave this fucking friendship. Like, this is not,
it's not healthy.
It's not healthy. And they're like, we see how damaging it is and all this other stuff. And at some point, like, just being wronged so many times that I finally was just like, I'm done. And it made me realize that, people can't see the damage that they've done if you don't ever walk out, because it's just like, well, how much more can they tolerate? How much more disrespect can you tolerate? And once I did that, all of a sudden it was like the behavior wanted to be changed and apologies were getting said, but there was still no accountability. And at some point, like, I literally just closed the door. I kid you not, I think it was like 6 months later, it was like hey, I'm probably the last person that you want to hear from, but like I found all of this stuff, it just reminded me of this and blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay, like I don't know why you're reaching out now.
Why are you bringing something up when we've already closed the door?
Well, I had closed the door, apparently she hadn't. And it was her trying, like, there was an attempt at accountability being taken, but it just, she couldn't take that final step of ownership. And so, like, still to this day, like, I'm willing to have a conversation, but it's like you can't be defensive with me. And so with anybody, like, if we have that conversation, the moment that you get defensive and the moment that you try to justify what you did, I'm walking out. Because you broke my trust. You're now coming back to me stating that, like, these are the things that you want.
It's a little bit like attacking you.
Yeah. So for me, it's, I'll always give one chance at repair, but like if you can't take ownership and accountability for like what you did, then what's the point of even having that conversation? Like, if you truly care about the connection the way that you claim to care about it, then you should know that, like, I'm not gonna be the type that's gonna like lunge across the table and like try to get you to admit your wrongs.
There are some people like that, but I don't think we're the type of people like that. I'm not. And yeah, I'm sure you're not either. Yeah, because I've met a few people like that are constantly like, let's fix this. Let's figure out what's wrong. Like, tell me what I did wrong. And you tell them what they did wrong, and then they don't get it in a sense. They're like, oh, no, that's not what happened. That's not what happened, like, between us. That's not what caused things to go south. But tell me what happened. Tell me what's going on. And
exactly. Like, it's like
I just told you.
Yeah, you have your narrative, they have their narrative. Obviously, nobody wants to be wrong, but in order for there to be repair, like both parties need to admit fault.
Exactly.
Because both people contributed to it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just say that one person started all this, because it's a cause and effect. It goes back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing that's always stayed with me is like, an apology without changed behavior is just manipulation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Have you ever been the person that like you're stubborn and you can't seem to like wanna reconcile things, and they're stubborn and they can't seem to do it? Like, are you ever the person to break that and try, or will you just be stuck in your way?
I'm learning to be better about voicing what I want.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a lot of it comes from the fear of, if we do reconcile, I'm now giving you another bullet in the gun that you already shot me with. Do I want to take that chance of allowing that to happen again?
Yeah.
Because the first time you're going in it blind, you're hopeful that like nothing has been done wrong, essentially. And you trust this person because they have given you no reason to not trust them.
Mm-hmm.
But once that trust is kind of broken for me, it's like, do I want to get hurt again? Do I want to get burned by the same flame?
Yeah.
And I will say, like, I think I've given 2 people like legitimate chances, and so far, like, it's been fine. But at least for me, I'm not as open as I once was. Like, the version that you got with me the first time is not going to be the version you get with me the second time.
But doesn't that affect the friendship then? Isn't it draining for you for not being completely yourself around them again?
No, I can be myself around them. They're just not going to get like that level of vulnerability.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to get that openness. They're not going to be the first person that I want to contact about something.
How do you create that though? Like that barrier? I'm the type of person that if I'm gonna bring this person back into my circle, like I'll go ahead and just brush everything under the rug, kind of the past under the rug, and then just continue on where we left off.
Like, I can forgive, but I cannot forget.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's a scar. It's there. It's not open, it's not bleeding anymore, but like when something happens, like you're reminded of it. Like, it gets cold and like it starts to hurt or something.
Yeah, but you don't how do you deal with the reminder is my thing then in that case.
I think I just have to remind myself that it's like, that's obviously the past, and like the past can't hurt me because it already happened. But it just makes me it just makes me cautious in general.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate that I become overly cautious, but I think I've been like taken advantage of so many times that if I give you the second opportunity and you legit like you fuck me over, like I will not talk to you.
Yeah.
My ex best friend, she tried to follow me on Instagram, I think like 3 years ago. The notification literally popped up on my screen. I went to Instagram and I immediately blocked her.
Yeah, it was too much.
It was just too much because there was just like so much damage had been done, and there was just like, there was no coming back from what had happened.
Yeah.
There was like rage tweets, and just like shit being said, and I'm like, you're spinning the narrative to make you look good when everybody who has known us and knows what happened knows that like I was not in the wrong.
Yeah.
It all stemmed from me getting into a relationship. And prior to that, like, her and I would spend all of essentially all my time with her. We'd hang out. We were roommates at that point. And they were roommates. We would hang out, and the moment so it was okay for her to get into a relationship. It was okay for her to spend time with her boyfriend. I understood, like, that's your boyfriend. But the moment that I started spending time with mine and like making plans that were no longer based around her, it low key turned into like a jealous girlfriend.
Yeah.
And she would throw fits of like, well, you're spending more time with him and this, that, and the other. And it's like, I'm doing what you're doing.
Yeah, why is it
Why
bothering
is it
you?
bothering you? And so then at some point, like, we went to Sedona and I went on a hike with him. And I posted on Instagram, I was like, oh, you know, like a 5 mile hike isn't so bad when it's with your best friend. She flipped out on me. She's like, how can you call him your best friend? I'm your best friend, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. Like, that's bullshit. And I'm like, you call your boyfriend your best friend, but I don't get mad about it.
Yeah.
And she's like, it's not the same. And I'm like, how is it not the same? Like,
Yeah.
and it just became like this whole thing. And afterwards, like my ex and I broke up. And then I want to say it was like a year after we had graduated, she took to Twitter and was like, ladies, let this be a reminder that to never pick a boy over your best friend. Like, you guys aren't even together anymore. Like, I have the screenshot still.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I keep receipts.
And I think it's crazy to even go on social media and start like calling out people because that shit's not gonna go away.
Oh, and so because of that, like, I got petty and I subtweeted her. And I was like, damn, I was like 3 years after, like, we're no longer friends and I'm still on your mind. And I guess somehow the tweet got to her and then it ended up blocked.
I mean, because obviously she was not over it.
No, and that's the thing. Like, for me, I can cut you off so quickly and have like no remorse because I know that I know my character, I know what I've done to essentially say that like I was a bad friend when I did nothing but support you and like show up for you and essentially put everything that I had going on like on hold for you. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
And so in general, if somebody wants to make amends and truly wants to repair any sort of fracture in any sort of connection that you have with me, you cannot minimize or get defensive when I bring up things that bothered me because now you're essentially saying that like my feelings are not valid.
Exactly. That tends to happen a lot with people though, is they don't like to validate the other person's feelings. It's always like their way, what they felt, and how you should be with them, and
that's just emotional immaturity. And you know, I saw a reel, when was it, last night, and it pretty much was talking about how people will say that they're like self-aware, and for the most part like that gets them by. And I'm like, that's good that you're self-aware, like you have a reason for like things happening, but like how are you moving away from that? What are you doing that's going to change that? Because
like, good job, you're self-aware. Now where's the growth?
How are you feeling all of this? How are you moving through it? Like, you're in that cage, like, great, you're aware of the cage that you're in. How are you moving out of it?
I don't like when they make it their identity. They're like, oh, this is just who I am. That's not an excuse to be that way. I think everybody should learn from themselves and from others and then continue growing or like realizing when they're doing bad or wrong, bad. And then
what also irritates me is like the weaponization of what people have gone through.
Oh yeah, I don't like that either,
because it's like, now if I try to bring up an argument or like try to say something, it's like, well, I have this going on, and it's just like,
that has nothing to do with their current situation.
Yeah, it's almost like an immediate loss.
Let's move on to our next one then. What is something that you want to, I don't know, do in the new year or change in the new year?
I want to be able to leave when I know I need to leave a situation.
That's a big one. It's always hard to tell.
I want to still, put myself 1st. I
Mm-hmm.
want to, you know, not necessarily find somebody, but like find somebody who treats me how I deserve to be treated, because I'm tired of people
Stepping over you.
stepping over me, stepping on me, and like saying, well, you deserve this and you deserve that. And like, I know all of these great qualities that you have about yourself, but then still
Treat you like crap.
yeah, do shitty things to me.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is that like I want somebody to know my value in real time and not have to like take time away from me to realize that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still, constantly go to the gym, just maintain that routine, get better.
Yeah, my huge thing is finding balance. I'm so used to putting myself first a lot of the times that now it's time to find balance with putting myself, or not putting myself first, but still considering my feelings, what I want, what I need, but also adding people to the mix, friends and
Yeah.
family and like dating, because I'm so used to either putting somebody above my wants and needs and then feeling so drained and ending that and then finding what makes me happy all over again. And then you meet somebody and then you start putting them above you again, and it's just constant like back
It's
and
breaking the
forth.
cycle. You want to be able to break that cycle in 2026.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was having, it's funny, so Tyler and I actually have bonded, I think, a little bit more in the recent months, just because we've had like similar situations. And it's just funny, you typically would leave things in the previous year that like didn't work out. But I'm going into 2026 with somebody that was like a failed talking stage.
As like a grown friendship.
Yeah, and I mean it's
Learned
more
experience.
it's more of a pen pal relationship, because we've never like actually met in person, but we've had phone calls, FaceTime calls, and like stuff like that. So it's like it's nice to know that like it blossomed into something that I didn't actually know that I needed.
Sometimes you think it's gonna go one way, but it goes the other way, and it works out.
And it works out. And I had jokingly told Tyler, I'm like, oh, so Tyler's moving to Austin for a job.
Where was Tyler before?
Here in Scottsdale.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh. And Tyler's never dated anybody like in their city, or like just in their proximity. Always dated out of state. And
that's interesting.
And I joked with Tyler and I was like, well, now that you're going to be in a different state and I'm going to be here, does that mean I have a chance?
That is true. That's funny.
I had to like break the ice and just make it like
make it
light. Yes,
yeah.
Exactly. And I'll always like rib Tyler on stuff. I'm like, you hate me, like you never want to meet up. And it's like, no. And I always joke, I'm like, you're just afraid that you're gonna fall in love with me with I'm just so fucking amazing.
That's funny. You sound like the people that try to date me. They're always calling me avoidant, and I'm like, but then I constantly give them the, how about next week? How about another time? And I'm not avoidant. I'm just busy. I always give them that.
No, I just like fucking with Tyler because it's funny. It's like that 5 minutes of just like subtle flirting, but it's never gonna really go anywhere, and it's just funny.
Yeah, they say it's fun.
It is fun.
I mean, everybody likes that, right? Like a little bit of just going back and forth.
Oh, absolutely.
It's never gonna be a thing.
It's never gonna be a thing, but
it
like
lightens the day a little bit.
It lightens the day. It's just like that funny banter. But in all honesty, though, like Tyler is, if I could surmise Tyler, it is somebody that I would be proud to like bring home to meet my parents.
Yeah.
And that says a lot. That just speaks to character, beliefs, values, and like lifestyle, and just overall the kind of person that they are. Um, and so I think like that's kind of what I'm looking for in like a relationship. You know, somebody that you have that good banter with, somebody that shares those like values and beliefs, and somewhat like similar hobbies and lifestyle, but not necessarily like a direct copy, because like if you're dating yourself, that's gonna get boring because things become an echo chamber. Like I want somebody to challenge me, and that's the thing.
I do believe opposites attract.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like with Tyler, it was kind of eye opening because Tyler would call me out on my shit and is like, "No, this is what you actually want," and I'm like, "Ooh, you're right." So it just kind of like puts things into perspective that it might not work out one way, it'll work out a different way.
Yeah.
And so pretty much it's been like an on and off like conversation, you know, every 2 weeks or something. And we kind of just like not necessarily rely on one another, but we kind of vent to one another and kind of give each other that advice that just other people in our friend group don't quite understand. So I think that's one of like the beautiful things that came from 2025 that is going into 2026. And I kind of just want to carry that vibe and like that good flow.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
It's like a friendship that wasn't meant to be a friendship, but it turned into a friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I like those. Those are always the ones that work out the longest because I think I'm friends with, honestly, my friends are mostly guys, and it's usually guys that like in the beginning tried to hit on me, but it just became more of like they see me as one of the guys now.
In 2026 is I want to be more vocal about like what my intentions are when it comes to dating. Because I think from the jump, if both people are on the same page about what it is, good. So I know how to show up and how much I am going to give. But if the other person is like, oh, you know, I'm not sure, then I'm gonna be like, all right, that's not. If you don't have a definitive answer, we're not gonna do this.
Yeah.
That just the confusion.
You don't want room for the confusion, and then it go on for a while, and one person's like, I thought it was this, and you're like, no, it was that.
That's literally what happened to me.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want that again.
It was like labeled at the end, you know, casual and all. Oh god, it was a whole fucking thing. But I just don't want that to happen again because I think a lot of things could have been avoided had honesty played a part. And that's the other thing. I think people not being honest in general do it selfishly because it would then allow the other person to have a choice of either remaining
or leaving. Yeah, I agree. And how can you make people stop doing that? Basically wasting somebody's time. You know, and you can't force anybody to grow. You can't force anybody to change their ways. You can't force them to see something they're not ready to see. In a sense, you know, it's kind of just like they're on their own timeline. You have to do what's right for you. Yeah, it's like they're not gonna see what they're doing, and why go into the new year trying to change somebody when obviously that's not a thing you can do. That's not something you can ever do. Just learn from it and realize like when to cut your losses, you know, at this point. You don't want to continue because at what point do you get tired of doing that over and over and over with a different person?
Yep. And that's the thing. It's the person has to make the realization that they need to break the cycle in order for something healthy to actually come along. And like we've talked about, or at least what like I've talked about, is having to look at yourself in the mirror. And essentially, I feel like in any relationship that I've been in, or like any dating situation, like whatever the fuck you want to call it, I've always been the one to hold up the mirror of like, in order for you to maintain this connection, like you have to show up, and it's just easier to run away than to show up for that person. And so I had been so good with immediately analyzing the situation and understanding why they were doing and just becoming too analytical that I would neglect feeling the emotions. I would intellectualize everything. And that was my way of coping and my way of maintaining control, so I, didn't have to cry. But I had just cried about it Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday morning. I started crying because I woken up and I'm like, you weren't chosen. Like, this person chose to leave you.
Oh, New Year's Eve?
Yeah, New Year's Eve. Like, I had woke up and I had texted Tyler. I'm like, I feel silly for crying about it still.
Yeah.
And Tyler had to remind me that it's like, healing's not linear.
It's not.
Healing is messy. There's no timeline for healing. And was just telling me, like, feel the emotions, feel the feelings. Like, there's nothing wrong with it.
It's gonna rise and fall.
It comes in ebbs and flows. Like, I even woke up this morning and it was just like a big ass wave of sadness. But I'm like, I'm just gonna feel it and write it out, because the more you try to run from it, it's just gonna get like worse and worse.
Yeah.
Because you can't outrun everything. At some point, it all catches up to you, and if anything, like, it hits 10 times worse later on.
Yeah.
And everybody just has different coping mechanisms, and some people just run.
Yeah, they do. Eventually they'll get tired of running though, or maybe they won't.
And some people won't.
Yeah, I was gonna say some people don't, because I know a lot of older people that are still the same. So I think it all depends on the person, if they're willing to grow and change or not. But really, why even spend so much energy and time thinking about that when you're just, I think we need to start paying more attention to us at some point, and just being like, all right.
And and everything I had done was like internalizing everything of, if I didn't say this, if I had done this, what if I said this instead of this? What if I didn't do this? Or like, what if I had shown up less? Would it have changed anything? It's like, that was just my way of controlling things. It was my way of making sure to like ease the hurt.
Let me say, I'm trying to get a drink too. Yeah.
What up, Shawty?
It's you trying to control what can't be controlled.
And the other thing is too, my mind immediately goes to like worst case scenario, because it's trying to fill in the gaps, because I don't have that information. And so where I don't have answers, my mind just like runs, and I keep having to learn and like remind myself that it's like, that's not for you to figure out.
Stop trying to control what can't be controlled. Yeah. And stop trying to find answers when sometimes you have to just live in the unknown.
And I had told Tyler this. I'm like, the hardest thing was like letting go. Like, I know I have to let go, but what I'm having to let go of is like, it was coming to terms that Alex wasn't going to be a part of a future that I had planned with them. And so it's like letting that go.
It's grieving something that you had planned out or saw a future of, and it's just not going to work. It basically just died.
It literally just died. And I didn't have a choice in whether or not like the death could be final. So it's just like a lot of things that like were coming up as like I started journaling more. And
that's good, because it also, losses like that cause growth and change and consistency and other things.
Well, because that's kind of the only choice that I have. And did you watch the Stranger Things finale?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so at the end, the like the monologue from Hopper of like you have two roads to go down. Mm-hmm. You can either, you know, sit and wallow and, you know, essentially replay everything of what you could have done differently, how things could have been done differently. Like you can sit there and nothing's going to change and like allow that to be your life and allow it to consume you, or you take the second road where it's like you come to terms with their choice. Mm-hmm. You might not agree with it, you might not be happy with it, but like that's their choice. You're never going to understand it, and that's okay that you think about it, but you still have to move forward.
Yeah.
And so it kind of just like resonated that going into 2026, like the choices that people make, that's their choice. And I might not agree with it and I might not be okay with it, but at the end of the day, it's like if you want to make that choice to walk out of my life and do what you need to do, go ahead and do it. But just be, you know, just let it be known that if you do try to come back, I'm going to question what your intentions are, because it's like, well, why'd you leave then?
Yeah, exactly. Now I have questions from, actually just one question from our viewers going into 2026, and they want to know if we're going to have a third to our casting couch. As in, like, are we going to ever start...
Are we going to have a threesome?
Yeah.
Oh.
Interviewing
others. That's an excellent question. I mean, we have people that want to be on here.
That's what I'm saying. I've already been asked a few times, and yeah, it's come up a few times, and I'm just like, first of all, where are you gonna fit?
I'm like, you ain't sitting on my... I'm like, unless I gotta sit on your lap and we're just like this.
Exactly. And then we just start interviewing.
And then we just start interviewing the next person, like, okay, this is
so and so.
This is so and so. And we're just here for like 2 hours.
Pretty much. It's either that or we sit like this for the most part. You think it would be interesting to have another perspective in this?
I don't see why not.
I don't either. And it's mostly men. It's like men want to know, like want us either to dig in their brains or
tell them how fucked up they are.
That, yeah, maybe.
Free therapy session.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So, I don't know. We'll see what 2026 brings, but I don't think it's coming soon.
We would have to plan that out.
We would.